This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English, episode number 296. Wow, very close to episode 300 and absolutely no idea what to do for episode 300. Anyway, in today's episode we speak to Mental Marky Mark. That's right, he is back. And we talk about how disgusting you are, which sounds strange. Nothing is ever normal on Rock and Roll English, but will make more sense during the episode. Anyway, news about the next round of my online course, Fluency via Pronunciation and Storytelling, will be coming very soon. So make sure you keep your eyes on the podcast and your emails. And let's go to today's episode. The conversation does get cut short again. We got to the 20-minute mark and said, you know what, let's continue. Apologies there for the noise. That's toddler RnR, as I'm now calling her. So toddlers, remember, are like, let's say, age 2 to 3, which the first Baby RnR, she is now a toddler, so she is now toddler RnR, and the new one, Baby RnR. Let's just get this terminology correct, shall we? So yes, the conversation does get cut short, but it does continue in the RnR family membership area. And if you are not part of that, remember, there are over 1,000 extra episodes, exclusive episodes to the membership area with transcripts. They are more personal, let's say gossip podcasts that are not safe for the public. And by joining, you get to build a personal relationship with me, which maybe is not very good, but also with RnR family members from around the world. So if you are interested in everything I've just mentioned, click the link in the description to this podcast. Click pause, there's a link there. Click that and you can become a member of the RnR English family today. Anyway, that's enough of me. Here is the conversation. Happy listening. Mental Marky Mark, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Mark, I'm doing all right. How are you?
Always fantastic. Even more fantastic that on our Zoom call, I can see that you have changed your name to Mental Marky Mark.
I have.
Or maybe you just had this for a meeting at work before we spoke.
No, but I did have a work meeting when it, obviously usually you call me by my last name, which is Carol. And I did join a work meeting as Carol.
Yeah, Carol is better than Mental Marky Mark for a work meeting, I think, isn't it?
I know. People were expecting me to be mental.
Well, you are mental, okay? Yeah. So, do you remember how we start the show?
Yes, but I always get the terminology wrong. But have we got any reviews?
Reviews, correct terminology.
Yes.
Great start. So, yes. So, do you think we have one?
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It took a long time to think. I was just about to say sometime today, please.
Has anybody ever said no?
Oh, yeah.
And have they been right?
Sometimes. It's not all sunshine and rainbows here, Mental Marky Mark. This
Correct.
is real English, real people, where sometimes you don't get reviews, okay? That's life. That's life. There are ups and downs, okay? And that's rock and roll English. But today is an up, okay? Because we do have a review, and it's from Kostas Panagiotidis. Kostas Panagiotidis. I actually practiced that pronunciation because I spoke to Kostas today because he recently joined the RnR family. And that's the great thing about the RnR family, Carol. When you join, you get to have a great chat with me, 15 minutes, okay? Imagine how great that would be.
That is great. Do you get a free t-shirt?
Look, I'm not made of money here, Mental Marky Mark. Okay, don't start telling people that.
Kostas, when I joined, I got a free t-shirt. I'm just saying.
So anyway, moving on before Mental Marky Mark makes me lose more money. It says, hey, I've been listening to this podcast for 1 month and I really love it. I've been learning English for about 1 year and really enjoy every episode, which puts a smile on my face. I know I have a lot more English to learn because my English isn't that good, but every episode helps me a lot. Thank you so much for this and keep on rocking. Wow. Thank you so much, Costas. That's what we're here to do, isn't it, Mental Marky Mark? Help people.
Yeah, and his English, at least his English writing appears pretty good to me.
Pretty good. Some very nice R&R grammar in there as well. I've been learning English for about a year. Fantastic. So on to today's episode, Mental Marky Mark, which, as you may know, I'm not capable of using my brain to think about things that are not happening in my life. So every episode is something which has been happening. So I was thinking, what can we do an episode about? And when I woke up this morning, I realized it had been 3 days since my last shower. Okay.
What? What's wrong with you?
Look, Mental Marky Mark, come back and talk to me when you've got 2 children. Okay. Because things are going to change for you in the next few weeks when baby Mental Marky Mark number 2 comes. Okay, things are going to change. So come back and talk to me then. Although I am happy to report I did have a shower after I came up with this. I had a shower today at about 10 o'clock, so nice and clean. But so I thought we could talk about just like hygiene and things that people find disgusting, things that maybe you do that people find disgusting. For example, longest stretch without a shower for you. How long has that been? Now, tell the truth here as well, because I often find people think it's cool to say how clean they are. Like back when I was a normal person before Baby RnR number 2, and I had a shower every day. I remember talking to some people and they were like, what? 1 shower a day? I have at least 2. And like at least like you have 4 a day.
Apparently Thai people have, upwards of 2 showers a day. I think that's based on the climate.
So 2 minimum. So
I've
been to Thailand. And, well, I'm happy to say I was having 1 shower a day at the time, but still not quite 2. But what about you, Mental Marky Mark? What's the longest time?
Well, you must have considered this because, obviously, although it doesn't sound like it, I am in the British military, so I have gone several days over a week. Without a shower.
And then do you like all just jump in the shower together and just
no,
touch each other's private parts? That's what I thought happens in the army.
Okay, so first of all, not in the army. Second of all, we don't all just jump into the shower together. It's not a thing. I think you've watched too many films from maybe 100 years ago. But do you know what? Even last week, we have something in common here. I also didn't shower for 3 days because do you know when it was snowing?
Yeah.
Our boiler broke and we didn't get our boiler fixed for 12 days.
And you weren't brave enough to have a cold shower, no?
No, but I can always say that I've jumped into ice cold water in the Arctic, like Wim Hof. So if anyone...
Sure you have. Like, no, I haven't had a cold shower, but I've jumped in the Arctic, like freezing cold water. Sure.
I'll have to show you photos. I'll show you photos after the pod of that.
Okay. We'll wait for them. But so speaking of disgusting things, connected to a shower, had the first bath for the 2 R&R babies the other day. Together, put them in together. It just seems to be a thing that kids do, isn't it? I don't know why.
Makes it easier.
Exactly.
You don't need more than 1 bath time.
Exactly.
Sure.
Thinking of the environment here as well for saving water, etc. And so they're both in there. It was quite, an emotional moment. And then realised that now calling her toddler R&R did a shit in the bath. And that is honestly the first time she's ever done that in like 2 years and 1 month of her life, and then it was kind of like abandon bath quick, like get them out, like wow, like bath over, like panic. It was absolutely mental.
Why did she have to wait till her little brother was in the bath with her before she did her flush? That says it all.
Exactly. But okay, so maintaining toilet conversation. Okay, let's say something drops into the toilet. Okay, would you put your hand in there to get that thing out?
I had to do it last week when toddler mental Marky Mark dropped a bracelet or something into the toilet. And to answer your question, no, I would not put my hand directly in. I went and got a rubber glove.
A rubber glove. Even so, if it was my toilet, I would drink that water.
Yeah, but you also don't shower for 3 days, so that says it all about you.
You've just told me you didn't have a shower for a week and then had a shower with 50 men.
I didn't have the capability to have a shower.
Sure. But once this actually came up in last week's podcast, the Hellraiser's 18th birthday, who you were actually there that night, Mental Marky Mark, where we went to Basildon, which is a town, let's say, nearby to where we grew up.
We went to Icon Diva.
Not sure if people know that. I couldn't even remember the name of that. So I'm not sure, for example, people listening in Japan are going to know Icon Diva in Basildon. But
well, they should Google it. It's known as Bas Vegas.
Yeah, that is true, actually. Yeah. One of the really big things to see in England. Like, yeah, sure, come to London, see Big Ben, but don't forget about Icon. I've already forgotten the name.
Icon Diva.
Icon Diva in Basildon. Okay.
Great nightclub.
Great nightclub. And it was so great when I was in there, someone was calling me, phone vibrating, pulled it out straight into that toilet.
Oh.
And what do you do then? Public toilet.
Ask for a member of staff.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Go and ask one of those big bouncers who are the security people. Excuse me, I've just dropped my phone in the toilet. Could you please put your hand in there and get it, even after I've just been pissing in it, and see what they say?
They would flush it away and throw you out.
Yeah, exactly. They would, flush the phone and throw you out the nightclub.
I hope people in Japan don't listen to this because they'll be mortified at our stories. Like our horrendous stories, like putting your hand down toilets and not showering.
We've got lots of listeners in Japan, I will have you know, Mental Marky Mark. But yeah, so I actually had to put my hand in that public toilet to get the phone out, which wasn't pleasant. Luckily, I was, let's say, under the influence of alcohol, so it was less disgusting than what it would be. No rubber gloves around, unfortunately, just straight skin in there, which, toilet of a nightclub.
Just give it a good old wash, the old hands, 20 seconds. Now we know. You probably didn't.
Well, that's it. That was one of my other questions, washing hands after going to the toilet. Everyone thought, I do that, but now after COVID, now we know what really washing your hands means, doesn't it? Like between the fingers. Yeah.
You see, people have reverted to pre-pandemic times now, and they either don't bother again, or you have the weirdos like me who stand there for 20 seconds properly washing their hands.
Oh, of course you do, because you're so clean, aren't you? So I'm not embarrassed to say that. Yeah, sometimes if I've got a bit of time, I'll go for the 20 seconds between the fingers, all of the rest of it. But there are some times, so I will always wash my hands. But for me, I think as long as water touches my hand, water from the tap, that counts as washing. So sometimes, I go to the toilet and I switch on the tap, half a second, it's touched my hands, that's washed my hands.
Can we put a vote on the Rock and Roll Family Facebook group to see, let's put a vote out there. Is that disgusting or is that standard?
Well, look, so I work online. Sometimes I have less than 5 minutes between one lesson and the other. Okay, so it's just a matter of time. I rarely go out and see anyone.
In your own home,
Yeah,
I think it's all right.
It's all right, isn't it? Anything goes.
Yeah.
Anything goes in your own home, doesn't it?
But sorry, we should clarify that it seems more acceptable if it's a piss, but obviously if it is a shit, you should definitely wash your hands.
Definitely, yeah. And I love how you were trying to think of a nice way to say the word shit, and I saw you stop and think of like if it's
if you've defecated.
That's a problem I've had recently, actually. So we
don't want to talk about your constipation.
Yeah, let's talk about my shit. No, about Baby RnR's shit. So talking to talking to doctors and stuff, and I don't know what is the official way, because I go to the doctor and they ask me about if he's going to the toilet, and I say, yeah, his I don't say shit, I say poos. But I was thinking, is there a better way to say that?
Bowel movements. He has 10 pisses a day, 10 wet nappies, and 2 bowel movements, or whatever it is.
2 bowel movements, because that could just be movement. I'm talking about actual shit.
They'll know what you mean.
Yeah, but it's just always the embarrassing thing of saying, and his poos?
His number 2s.
Number 2s, that is a good one. Yeah, I like it.
Do the international listeners know that, we refer to peeing as number 1 and pooing as number 2?
I think they do. We have mentioned that a few times on the
Of course,
so...
of course you have. Of course we've talked about shit and piss on this podcast.
Oh, God, so much we've spoken about that. So what about re-wearing clothes, okay? How often have you done this in the past, Mental Marky Mark?
Well, so sports, if obviously gym sports kit is a once thing.
Actually, you've brought up a good point here, sports, because we know the London Marathon is coming soon, Mental Marky Mark. And obviously you were supposed to do that last year. We all gave you some money, and then, oh no, I'm not doing it. So how's it going? Have you been doing it? Have you been going out for runs, preparing and washing your clothes?
Well, let me show you this, Mart. I'll hold it up to my camera. But
remember, this is a podcast, so...
I know, but I'll describe it. So yesterday's running... Oh, you can't see it, can you?
Oh, my God. So for the listeners, he's showing me his running time. If there's one thing that is the most boring thing to see, it's like running times and distances. Someone shares that on Facebook of like, not bad, like PB, personal best.
But I never share this information.
Okay, well, you've just shared it with me.
Well, with you and the podcast listeners. But I'm just showing you that training is continuing. It's on track. In fact, one of your R&R listeners is keeping tracks of me.
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I could keep track of you. I'm not interested. I don't want to keep track of you.
I know, I don't. But, shout out to Akiko. He's doing some great running as well. I don't like her runs. She doesn't like mine. There's definite space that we don't know each other well enough, but I do appreciate them.
Right. Okay. Well, that's great to know that this is just the life of talking to a runner, I suppose.
Come on, no.
But so like socks or anything like this, socks, underpants. Have you ever reworn them?
So I'm a big in the past, yeah, loads. But now it's just fresh every day. Yeah, there has to be.
Yeah, if you have a shower, because I sometimes think if you don't, what's the point in putting clean ones on, because you're dirty anyway. The classic would be you go out, night out, you go to Basildon, to Bas Vegas, and you stay at someone's house. That night, actually, we stayed at your house. And for some reason, you made us sleep in a tent. So I woke up in a tent. Now, the Hellraiser's birthday is in April, but in the UK in April, it's not that hot. And I remember I woke up like hungover and thinking, what the fuck am I doing in a tent?
Well, bear in mind my whole family were in, and Hillary's bizarre request for his 18th birthday was to go to Bas Vegas and spend the night at my house, where there was not enough room. So you went in the we put a tent up. I think it was probably Hillary's idea.
So your parents just said, just keep them in the garden, the animals, just keep them.
Let's not forget, everybody, yours, Boom Boom's, Hellraiser's, Corporal Coma's track record at my house was pretty poor. Pretty poor behaviour.
In fact, I'm surprised your parents even let us sleep in a tent outside.
I'm surprised they even let me go back to my house after some of the teenage parties we had. God.
But yeah, so for example, that night I woke up in a tent. I didn't bring any spare clothes with me. I have to get the bus home wearing the same clothes.
Horrendous.
That really is like, coming back from those nights, just thinking, I hope I don't see anyone that I know.
Yeah,
that would just be an absolute nightmare at this point, to see someone that I know.
But I love it now. How, as a parent now, I couldn't care less if I saw someone I knew and I looked in a terrible state and hadn't showered for 3 days, because I've made my peace with life.
Well, yeah. So I was thinking that after one day of no shower, but when I got to like day 3, I was kind of thinking, I really hope I don't see anyone that I know. Because that's the thing, I have such little time now. I think, do I want to waste this time on a shower? So it's
well, I mean, I have long showers, man. Mrs. Mental Mark will tell you that. She always complains that I spend too long in the shower, but it's my thinking space. That's what I say.
Maybe you can like time it on your app as well, so you can show show us all pictures of your runs and your showers. Okay.
Well, don't have me on your podcast if you're saying I'm boring.
Who said running times and the length of showers are boring?
I did not mention the running.
Okay, distance.
And to all my kind sponsors.
Okay.
Thank you. And I am running it on the 23rd of April.
Sure you are, because Baby Mental Marky Mark number 2 comes along. You're going to be like, well, I had a baby, couldn't run it.
Not happening. And I'm not Australian. I had a baby. Oh, well, mate, I had a baby and now I'm not running the bloody marathon. Rock and roll Australian.
Okay, so we are going to stop the conversation there with Mental Marky Mark's fantastic Australian accent. He is good at accents, Mental Marky Mark. So let's have a look at the vocab. Not that much today, was more just enjoying the moment, weren't we? So at the beginning, I said to Mental Marky Mark, yes, sometimes we don't get reviews because it's not all sunshine and rainbows here. It's not everything is always fine here. No, in fact, we are out of reviews, so please help me out there. We had the term a longest stretch without a shower, a nice term to say longest time without a shower. Mental Marky Mark also said that Thai people from Thailand, obviously, apparently have upwards of 2 showers a day. So more than, upwards of. He spoke about his boiler breaking. So the boiler is the thing in your house that gives you hot water, let's say. When speaking about washing hands, he said people have reverted to pre-pandemic. So reverted to, gone back to. And on the subject of washing hands, we said, in your own home, anything goes. So wash those hands, don't wash them, anything goes. You make the rules in your house. And then he spoke about my track record at his house. So things that I had done in the past, things that had happened in the past, let's say. And if you don't know, go back and listen to old episodes. Anyway, that's all for today. Remember to check out the show notes by going to rockandrollenglish.com and then clicking podcast episodes and clicking on the latest episode. There may actually be a surprise or 2 in the show notes today as well. But anyway, I will speak to you all very, very soon, probably in the week. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.